Hey guys, it's Mark with Beast Music Shop. We're here at NAMM 2023. We are super lucky that we ran into Surfy Industries just as we're packing up on the final day here. These really caught our eye. Ted, how you doing today?
Good. Nice to meet you, Mark.
Nice to meet you too, man. Brendan over here, he's seen these. He tells me a lot about them. Everything kind of goes right over my head. Tell me what we got here.
So I'll start at the beginning. We make analog effects based on vintage effects, mostly from the early 60s, hence the name Surfy Industries. We all come from surf music. We're musicians, first of all, that have been playing surf music for many years, and then we find ourselves having a guitar effects company. So the first one that we came out was called the Classic, the SurfyBear Classic, and it's the one closest to the original Fender tank from the early 60s. It's just got the 3 basic controls. It has a full-size reverb pan inside, and it's a non-true bypass, so it kind of darkens the sound. It changes the character of the amp, which the original tanks did as well. So the real vintage purists, they want that kind of sound involved, and it just comes the closest to the vintage Fender tank as you can get, but at a much nicer price point.
Can we hear that guy?
Yeah, sure, we'll hear
it. So with these guys being the full-size tanks, do you also like encourage kind of hitting them around sometimes,
Sure.
get some sound?
Yeah, of course. Everybody wants to do that, so yeah, you're free to crash them if you want. And then the evolution of that, the next step in the evolution was making a true bypass model for people that want to use it with other pedals. You can use this with other pedals, but again, it's going to cloud change the sound of everything that's hooked up to them. So, and then it also has a clean volume boost, and went from the handmade wood chassis to like the giant stomp box, so it's $100 cheaper than this one. So this is our most popular one, and if we want, we can hear that one now. And then if you want me to keep going, the next step in the evolution is like, well, okay, so this can work with a pedal board, but people are still intimidated by the size and don't want something taking up all their room. Though some people have actually built pedal boards using this as the pedal board, putting smaller pedals on top of it. But the next step was the compact, where we took a small pan and added a decay. So the more you turn up decay, you can approximate the sound of a big pan, and or you can turn it back down and have a smaller pan sound. Sorry, my mouth's been working all day.
You're okay. Can you get a shot?
Sure.
Yeah.
And
flip it.
Flip it.
Yeah.
And the other cool thing about this one is that this one has 2 mixes built in. So if you're playing live and you have your reverb turned up on mixer number 1, you get to a part of a song where you want to back off, you just stomp there and on the fly instead of having to like lean over and adjust it. So this is a very versatile and small. If you're going on tour, even if you have a big tank at home, this is really, especially out from stage. This is super close. It's really hard to tell the difference. And you can
still
just stick it in your bag.
Still with the spring in there.
Yeah.
So you still getting all the classic sound.
Yeah. So we'll hear that one now. He's going between the 2 mixes there.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then we do. So those are the reverbs, and then we also make other vintage effects based on vintage effects. The first was the SurfyTrem, which is based on the tremolo circuit in the Fender Showman, and you can switch between the brown harmonic tremolo or the black, more of like a womp, whatever, for lack of a better word. And we can play that now. This is he's on the brown setting right now. And then here's black. And then we developed the SurfyVibe, which is based on the Magnetone 280s vibrato circuit. And Bjorn, our designer, it's just something it's such a unique sound. It's almost like almost a chorus flanger, Leslie even, kind of swirling sound when it's on the sweeping mode. And we can hear that one now, the SurfyVibe.
I really like the dual purpose light, the fact that you're not putting two separate lights, one for on off and one for the rate. It's like it's easy to tell it's on, not taking up any more space. Right.
And then it has the other setting is just vibrato without the sweeping. And then this one is not really a guitar effects pedal. It's sort of an amp enhancement. This is the presence knob that you find on old blonde amps like the Showman, which kind of fattens, and it's hard to describe. It's subtle. Fattens the sound, warms up the sound, and we really developed it out of, again, like if you're touring and on the road and maybe you get a backline amp that's not what you usually play, and you need that warmer and that fatter sound, then you can put this in front of it. And he's playing that one right now. And it really works well with the reverb too, because it sort of pushes it almost to the point of distortion, and it has that power without and compression. Without fully, distorting it. But that's the real, like, the Dick Dale, that people are always looking for. That was, the secret of having the presence turned up with the reverb. And then for NAMM this year, our newest is the SurfyFuzz, which Garrett here helped us develop. He's a real fuzz freak. It also has two settings. We call it USA and Japan. The USA is based on a pedal that Garrett actually helped or developed in the 90s himself, and he had the brilliant idea of adding this mass function because he discovered that his fuzz sounded great when he was practicing at home, and then when he got on stage with the bass and the drums and everything else, instead of having this fuzz come out screaming, it just disappeared in the mix. So the mass helps bring that out, and helps you control that so you can be heard. Yeah. And then the other side of the circuit is called Japan, where our starting point on that was the Ace Tone Fuzzmaster, but also some other 60s Japan fuzz, with an octave in them, and that one. And then these aren't plugged in, but we based on the SurfyTrem, we developed the SurfyTrem Deluxe, which is a stereo version, which is really cool because you can get the trem if you have it stereo set up. The trem ping-ponging side to side, and also in the stereo vein, this is called the StereoMaker. It's an ABY switch that has this width function, and so the more you turn that up, the wider your speakers seem to drift apart from each other, even if they're like on top of each other or right next to each other.
Yeah.
You get that that stereo spread. And then the only other thing is over at that table. Should we go look at that, or this is our SurfyBear Studio edition. It's rack mount with XLR and line in the back, meant for a home studio or a professional studio, or even as a component. I mean, people can play directly into it as guitar inputs as well. So, we just wanted to make an affordable real spring studio model of the Reverb, and what makes it special is the same kind of idea on the StereoMaker, a width function where again you can spread the sounds out using a pseudo stereo comb filter, and it has stereo out, but it can also be used in mono. And again, we just wanted to make an affordable. So many people are recording at home now, but they're slowly turning into professionals in their houses, especially after the last few years. So that's been really popular too, and everyone seems to. That's not our forte, especially the studio thing, but we really did our homework and checked with engineers we knew, and everyone seems real happy with it.
Super cool. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thanks you guys.